Hughes. Thank you for joining me on this webinar training today. 2020 and 2021 have been weird years, particularly rubbish for students, I think. I kept getting students asking about why they didn't feel motivated or what they can do to help themselves during this time. So I thought I'd put this webinar in today with a few actionable tips. You're probably going to want to grab a pen and paper. I'm going to talk quite quickly because there's a lot to get through, and I will hang around at the end for questions. Okay, most people think that being clever, turning up and working hard at university is enough to get success. But if that were true, everyone who turned up and completed their assignments would be partying hard, getting first and landing a cushy job. And we all know that's not the case. In fact, if you keep holding this belief, you could actually run the risk of burning out or wasting a great opportunity to get your dream life. I have 10 years of experience inside the university machine, so I know how it works. But unlike most lecturers, I also have years of experience working in international brands, so I know what they're looking for. I've also started several businesses, so I know what it's like to manage your own workload. If you stay till the end, you'll learn the #1 mistake most students make before they hand in any piece of work. I'm just going to switch to the slides now so you won't see my face anymore.
First of all, let me introduce you to the Level Up framework, because when people have a framework, no matter what happens in their lives, they have the systems, goals, networks and cheat codes to carry on getting success. If you've already felt the nudge to wanting more success at university, then that means you already have what it takes. I'm going to take you through some quick tips that can start to make the difference straight away. And in the centre of the Level Up framework is you, because the first step to nailing something is understanding the hows and the whys. So here's my first tip. Get clear on your motives. The first thing you need to do is get clear on why you're at university. But you've got to dig deep here, because as we know, there's the good reason and there's the real reason. Remember, logic doesn't motivate us anywhere near as much as emotions do. If you think about a time when you really went for something and you were proud of what you did, I bet emotions are what led you to that determination. The feelings that you got from doing it and once it was done, not the logic behind why. So I want you to get in touch with your feelings and try to answer that first question. My second tip is to identify and be aware of the things that might be holding you back. I call these your limiting beliefs. These are things that you may say to yourself or other people. Let me give you some examples. I'm not as clever as other people on my course. Or I'm too shy to create networks. Or I'm just not good at writing essays. Or I'm just a 2-2 student. But the thing is, your potential is limitless. The brain is the most complex device in the known universe. And if you feed it in the right way, it will continue to grow. But we have a habit of creating our own constraints. Let me give you an example of what I have seen time and time again. When a student is hovering in the 2-2 or maybe lower category with their grade, their brain starts to get comfortable with that. It becomes their standard. Let's say they really push themselves and they manage to get a 2-1 or even a first for a particular piece of work. Obviously, they are over the moon. But if you don't retrain or reset your brain to become a person that gets a first or a 2-1, then your brain thinks, what's going on? This isn't me. And it moves you back to your comfort zone of 2-2s. Has that ever happened to you? That is why you wear braces on your teeth for so long, even after your teeth have moved to the right position, so your brain doesn't reset your jaw back to its original place. But it is possible to change your standards and stay at your new level. You just have to be aware of your brain's annoying habit. So that's tip 3. make sure after you've got a new standard that you stay there. And remember, you get your standards, not your desires. The systems element is one of the foundation pillars you need in order to get success, and it's designed to give you the tools you need to get stuff done, get it done efficiently, and get it done right. Most people think that to get a good grade, you need to be clever, turn up, and work hard. But most students haven't discovered the proven methods for getting good learning, empirically tested methods which are not taught to you. So even A-player students can end up with B-player skills. So let's have a look at a few tips you can implement today. Every good grade starts with a plan, right? First of all, let's have a quick look at how your brain learns. When you start to learn something new, you create neural pathways in the brain. And at first, these pathway shapes are faint, but the more familiar the work becomes, the more you start to understand it, and the more pronounced these shapes start to become. So, if you're in class and you're being introduced to something new, and you don't get it at first, but it looks like you're the only one not getting it, other people seem to be getting it quicker than you, don't stress. It might just be because their brain has encountered a similar pattern before. Perhaps not exactly the same, but similar enough that they can transpose it. They may not even realise that themselves. If you can relate, if you've ever felt like you're the only one not getting something, I know I've been in that position before, this is my tip number 4. Don't worry. Don't stress about it. Just know that it may take you a little while longer. Sometimes you need to leave that work and use what we call the diffuse brain, which is where outside stimuli is important. So leave what you're doing and go out for a walk or something. And what happens is the subconscious mind is working on things for you, and it will help you understand. My next tip number 5, is about prepping for exams. What lots of students tend to do is cram, which is just about the worst thing you can do, especially when you have knowledge that needs building upon year on year. When you cram, it's like you're filing away the knowledge too soon before you've built those solid neurostructures. Students also tend to read the text over and over again, hoping somehow the information will flow into their brain. Or they just review their highlighted lecture notes several times until they feel like they know the material. But one positive thing you can do before an exam is to prime yourself. So priming is when you rehearse, when you quickly get yourself into the right mental and physical state to take exams. So this would include creating the right environment. So we have a state-dependent memory, which means when we learn, our surroundings, the music, the energy that we have, all influences how effectively we can recall information. So try and use that to your advantage. You wouldn't take your driving test without actually ever being in a car before, so make sure you set up practicing or priming yourself with exam conditions before the actual exam. Another note on priming. My friend said to me, Michelle, you always seem to find the right information just when you need it. And I said, that's because I fish all the time. You can't expect to just rock up before breakfast, get in a boat for the first time and catch a fish. You have to be fishing all the time. This section, networks, is all about creating the best environment for your success, looking at what you surround yourself with and how your body and mind work together. I'm going to give you a couple of examples. Student 1 was not very confident and had mixed feelings about coming to university. They enjoyed being at home and had a strong group of friends, some of whom were going to university and some of whom were not. They did not throw themselves fully into university life. Sure, They went out with some of the people they were in halls with. They thought about joining some of the societies, but it all felt too much for them. They did end up joining a couple of societies and they went out on some nights out, but didn't take it seriously or do the other activities with them, just drinking. Throughout university, they kept themselves to themselves. They had a few friends they lived with, but they were not on the same course. They never signed up for extra activities. They never asked or answered questions in class. They kept their head down. They struggled through work when they didn't understand it. They didn't have interesting conversations with peers about their study topic. They never found their people. So university wasn't a great networking opportunity for them. Their grades were pretty good, but did they achieve their potential? No. Now let's imagine student 2. Student 2 also lacked a bit of confidence because they'd not done as well in their studies as they'd hoped, but they felt ready to leave home and make new friends. They fully threw themselves into university life. They made themselves go and talk to people in halls even when they didn't feel up for it. They joined all sorts of societies. They tried them out to see which ones worked for them. They signed up for extracurriculum activities. They volunteered to help as a student rep. They made themselves answer questions. They became somebody people in the tutor group would know. Other students would chat with them, so when they didn't understand something, they could chat about it with other students on the course. They made use of the networks around them. And because the tutors knew who they were, they stood out. So when an opportunity arose for a paid internship, the tutor put them forward. This meant they had a good head start on their CV. They earned some extra cash as well. And they also knew, because of this, that they could ask their tutor for a reference. They had a great network when they left university, and their confidence had increased. When they went for a job interview, they were not only able to demonstrate their knowledge and skills, but also their competency in networking and being proactive. Why I think it's unfair if your university doesn't have a no detriment policy. And it's because your hippocampus, the area of the brain associated with learning and memory, and emotion and reason, needs an enriched environment to thrive. And what's more, it's been shown to shrink in depressed patients. So when you're deprived of an enriched environment, this area can regress. And to create an enriched environment, you need to be part of things like sports and exercise clubs and societies, discussions and groups, cultural events and exhibitions. But of course, you currently don't have that. So you've got to do the best you can with what you have got. And that means looking to enrich your environment in other ways. So this is tip 6, which is to find ways to create an enriched environment. You could join Clubhouse, for example, which is a relatively new app all about creating talking rooms. You could enter a random room because you can always leave quietly if you like, but it might be interesting. This comes back to the fish analogy I was talking about. I'm always out fishing, priming myself, and in a kind of mysterious way, the information I need seems to get back to me at the right time. But it's because I'm in Clubhouse or I'm watching a random documentary. So your university will also have something like Canopy, which is a documentary hosting site. So get familiar with what's available and try and watch something each month that you wouldn't normally watch. Make sure you exercise. Exercise has been shown to act in a similar way to enriched environments. I know that can feel counterintuitive to some students, especially around exam time, but getting out and exercising puts your brain in that diffuse mode I mentioned. So the unconscious mind gets to work and new ideas and new ways of thinking start bubbling up to the surface. We know when we experience what literature calls the stretch, which is when you immerse your neural circuitry in the feelings of something bigger than us, they elevate our charity and happiness, and it allows us to see through different lenses. And again, that is a great thing to do before any hand-in. So, Watch documentaries you wouldn't normally watch. Make sure they're things outside of your field of study. And finally, I know it's hard, but in class you've got to turn your camera on, get noticed, turn up. It is really easy if your teaching is online to become passive in your learning, but that's not building strong neural networks. This part of your framework is called success, and it holds the cheat codes, if you like, these small things that really make a difference. There's nothing complicated in this part, just magic sprinkles that the lecturers know but don't tell you. And as promised, this is the #1 mistake most students make before any hand-in, which is they don't check their work against the learning outcome. I know it sounds so obvious, but most students either don't know where their learning outcomes are, they don't look at them, or they were giving them, but they're lost in a sea of paperwork, perhaps at the beginning of a module. But this is what your tutors are marking you against. So it's all about making sure you understand what you're supposed to be learning and what you'll be assessed against. So here's my next tip. Most students don't go through step by step to ensure that what they're handing in is going to hit the learning outcomes. And simply by having a process and a checklist can mean the difference between grades. It might just be a simple extra paragraph or change of wording that could help you hit a learning outcome. So you can carry on your own, being overwhelmed, overworked and stressed out. I see it with students all the time. Remember, clever students don't always get the results they deserve. This happened to me. I knew people on my degree that were less clever, less interested in the subject matter than me, but they got better grades because they knew how to play the game. They had a framework. Or students who get burnt out. Again, I would see this all the time as a tutor. Students who were pushing themselves harder, but not smarter. They would get the good grades, but they would burn out, and their social life was non-existent. They didn't create networks, and they didn't have a framework. I don't want that for you. I want to help you level up your grades, and my framework will do that. It's as simple as that. Every student that's been through this has said, I wish I had it earlier. What I've given you in the last 20 minutes or so is an overview of the framework and some of the simple tips that will have real results today. But that's just scratching the surface. The How to Nail Uni programme is not a productivity course like you might have got from school or university. It's an online, bite-sized, go at your own pace, 4-module transformation process with actionable step-by-step processes that will get you success. And for just £297, you'll get instant access to the core training modules, action-driven strategies, videos and exercises that will transform you from a frustrated student into a successful one, taking charge of your life. So let me just explain exactly what you'll get. So you'll get the How to Nail Uni online digital course with the bite-sized videos, workbooks and actionable processes. What I'm going to throw in is not only your How to Nail Uni course, but also bonus one, a 14-day action plan that it's going to ensure you see real value, real results within 2 weeks. That's usually £75, but I'm going to throw it in for free. So that's your How to Nail Uni course, your 14-day action plan, and your second bonus is my guide to the 7 steps that allow you to nail the perfect essay. This is a step-by-step process that takes you from your assignment to the hand-in, and we do it in 7 easy steps. Now that's normally £57, but again, it's not going to cost you a penny. So that's your How to Nail Uni course, your 14-day action plan, your 7 steps to nailing your essay, but I want to give you more value. University is expensive, so who doesn't need a few extra quid to see you through? So I've pulled together 12 kick-ass side hustles that can start bringing some cash in for you, some of them without even leaving your room. It's all legit. And that the value of that is obviously priceless. So that's your How to Now Uni course, your 14-day action plan, your 7 steps to nailing your essay, your 12 side hustles, and I'm also throwing in 5 secrets to successful teams. And I've updated that for virtual teamwork, and that is worth a value of £25. So, just to recap, this is what you're going to get for £297. You're going to get How to Now Uni, 14-day action plan, 7 steps to nailing your essay, 12 side hustles, and the 5 secrets to successful teamwork. So I want to ask you something. If all this did was level up your grades, would it be worth it? If all this did was make you less stressed before an exam, would it be worth it? If all this did was mean you never had to start from a blank page when writing an essay, would it be worth it? And I'm committed to helping as many students as possible make university work for them. So How to Now Uni is usually £297. However, because you've joined me today during one of the most disruptive times university students have ever faced, I've decided to take £200 off. So you can have all of this for just 5 instalments of £27, or save and pay in full for just £97. What's more, because I know this is going to get you results, I even guarantee it. I'm going to give you an entire year, so that's 365 days to try it and prove to yourself it will deliver results. I promise, if it doesn't, then all you need to do is contact my team, show us you did the work, and we will happily refund you. If you think there's even a slight chance How to Now Uni will work for you, you should enrol today. So now it's time for you to make one of 2 choices. The first choice is to do nothing and risk not standing out in an ever-growing pool of graduates, or worse, getting that degree result you don't want. But if you want to be working smarter, not harder, taking control of your life and getting the results you want, then the choice is obvious. Join us inside How to Now Uni and start your transformation to becoming the successful student you know you are meant to be. Simply click the button and my team and I will be waiting for you on the inside. So I will go through some of the frequently asked questions now from students, because that probably helps some of you. So the first one is, how long will I have access to the course? Well, the good news is that it's a lifetime course, so you will always have access to it. I don't know whose lifetime, mine, yours, anyway, whatever, you'll always have access to it. And the good news is that whenever I update it, because I'm constantly looking to research and science and looking for proven techniques, of course, whenever I update it, you will also get those updates. So there's no rush for you to work through this. Another question I'm often asked is, look, my approach has got me to university. I've done well so far. Why do I even need to change? Which is a very good question. And you're right, your approach has been working well. But all we're going to do is illuminate areas of strength so that they shine even brighter. And I would say, unless you're getting the top marks and offers for your dream job, then why couldn't we work together just to improve that approach even further? Another good question I often am asked is, isn't this all available from my university? Good question. But no, it's not easily packaged and it's not available in these bite-sized videos with step-by-step actionable tools for you to use. So you can visit your library and resources and see parts of this, but it's not delivered in the same way. It's not as easy to get hold of and work with. And this has a lot more evidence-based stuff within it. So someone else asked, I've tried other online courses before but have been disappointed. How is it different? Well, although it's a highly practical course, it will ask you some hard questions about yourself and who you are, but that is fundamental to getting results. And all I can say is I've had years of experience helping students to get success, and now I want to help you. And what I do know is if you carry out the actions in this module, you will get a better grade. There is no question. So, is there support available if you get stuck? Yes, there is. So, you can join the Get Your Future Facebook group. There'll be a link in the course for that. And it's full of people just like you who are going through the same thing or have already done it. And so they are a wealth of information and support. And also I bob in there quite often and answer questions as well. But if you've got specific questions, technical ones, yes, you can just email the team at info@getyourfuture and we will help. The other thing I can say is we also offer further support. So if you feel like you want some more one-on-one coaching, because this has helped you, but you just want to push it even further, then you can join our Level Up Premium package. And the information for that is in the link. So I'm in my final year. Have I missed the boat? Absolutely not, no. So this is what I would say, this course is invaluable for your first year, but actually the actions that I propose are quick to put in place and have immediate results. And also the great thing is the skills you're going to learn in here are not just useful for university, they're useful for life. So I know graduates that have benefited from this information as well. So someone else has said, this costs the same as my weekly shop, is it worth it? I mean, yes. Quite frankly, the most important investment you can make is in yourself. And if you want to gain the edge and get confidence, then your future self will thank you. I'm already swamped with my workload. Will I have time to fit it in? So absolutely you will. So each video is about 5 minutes long. You could just listen to it if you like on, as you're walking or on the bus. It's entirely at your own pace. And the thing is, because it's actionable, it asks you to take quick steps afterwards. Also, you can go back and listen and re-listen as many times as you need to. And once you've put some of these things that I propose in place, you won't be swamped again. And I mean, what makes the student so successful? Well, I think it's because How to Nail Uni is a holistic approach to get results, and it focuses on each of those 4 elements within the Level Up framework. And the key one is the you section at the beginning. Now, some people just, for example, dive straight into one of the bonuses, which is 7 steps to writing an essay, because they've got an essay to write. And if that's you, that's fine, go and do that. But I really encourage people to come back and do the you section, because that's where all the hard stuff happens. That's where you're answering, why am I really at university? What is my end goal here? Because when you're struggling for motivation, that's what you need. So I think people are successful because it's a holistic approach. It's not just sorting out getting your next essay perfect. There's the more elements that you do of it, the more successful you will become. Okay, so if you have any more questions, feel free to email at info@getyourfuture.co.uk and I will endeavour to answer all of them. So good luck, I hope that's been useful and hopefully see you on the inside.